Welcome back to another episode of Happiness Habitat. Today's a very special episode because I'm joined by my good friend, and she also happens to be a celebrity trainer, Jenna Willis. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes. Oh my gosh, of course I wouldn't miss this. I literally am in my living room. I would never miss this.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm actually really excited to take the time on a podcast setting to dive into your journey because you are one of the most elite trainers out there, at least that I know. And seriously, that's out there. And I want to talk about your journey getting there because we've never actually talked about it. So I want to learn about your story and kind of,
what's funny?
No. So this is perfect. Let's dive into it. Talk to me. How did you become this?
How much thank you for asking about it. It's one of those things that now when I look back, it kind of all has added up to this moment and makes sense. But in the journey, you never really see it that way. I grew up as a gymnast, and I went into a new school for high school. And when I went into high school, I was always playing sports, and I thought it was a really good idea to play a fall sports team or join a sports team for the fall so I could meet some new people, get some new friends, and then go into freshman year feeling a little more comfortable. Through high school, I continued to play sports. However, oddly enough, I was sneaking out and taking theater classes in New York City because I grew up in Jersey. So, fitness had always been a part of my life. But when I was 9 years old, I went to the Paper Mill Playhouse, which was a local playhouse theater, to go see this musical called The Newsies. And I was sitting in the audience. I remember sitting there being like, wow, I want to make people feel the way that I feel right now for the rest of my life. And from that moment of 9 years old, I was like, I want to be an actor. But sports had always been a part of my life. And I played sports for friendship. And after school, I would go outdoors. I, believe it or not, ended up getting a volleyball scholarship to college. I was the tiniest Division I volleyball player in the nation.
Wow.
But I was going into New York City still every Saturday after practice and taking acting classes. So I was continuing to pursue this dream while simultaneously playing sports just because it was something that was always a part of my life. Sophomore year of college, I went to my parents and I was like, hey, I'm stopping volleyball and I'm moving to Los Angeles to become an actor. And my parents were like, oh, that's a really great idea. Good luck. I was like, oh, I guess I didn't think of it like that. They were like, oh, yeah. I was like, and maybe not happening. No. So they're like, or you can transfer colleges and, move out to Los Angeles, study theater, and graduate, get a side job, and truly pursue your passion. And I was like, man, you guys are smart. I was like, that's a good idea.
Great parents.
So, I transferred out to Loyola Marymount, Los Angeles, and I studied theater my junior and senior year of college. I graduated college, and I booked an independent film, right off the bat. And I was like, see, guys, I made it. I was like, I made it. I'm living the dream. And I don't think I booked a job for another year after that.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah. So then I went into, I finally broke into TV in 2013. I did my first job on Grey's Anatomy, which was really cool. And it was another one of those moments of I made it. And then the hustle continues. Now, what I want to kind of digress on is I started exercising again. And I got really into fitness after I graduated college to obviously stay in shape, but for truthfully, my anxiety that was really bad, especially in an industry like acting, where it's you're gambling every single day so much is out of your control. And it was one of the few places where I really felt like at home and comfortable. I will also add that I had like these crazy moments of just when I would go to the gym, I would feel free and present. In 2015, I asked how much time you had. I wasn't kidding. In 2015, I booked. I booked a recurring on the TV show called The People versus OJ, and I was doing your very LA waiting tables and pursuing acting. In 2015, I got to stop waiting tables for a while. I was on the show. As soon as the season wrapped, I booked a guest spot on this show called Criminal Minds. And I was like, I'm doing what I've always dreamed of. And the end of 2015 hit, and I was engaged, and my fiance and I broke up. And I went into 2016, and my representation at the time, really wasn't doing what I was hoping would happen. That was in my mind, my time to kind of push and go. And I went into a really bad depression, really, really, really bad, to the point that my parents were literally like, do you need to come home?
Wow.
And I was it was bad, and I was not exercising. And one day I just remember saying, you got this. I remember just having this self-talk of get up, go to the gym, and just do it. Literally, it sounds so ridiculous, but just do it. Take that step and show up.
Yeah.
And I started going to the gym, and I was reading, a lot of growth books and all this kind of stuff. And I was waiting tables. I was waiting tables way more than I thought I was going back to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at the gym, and I just remember it was the time where I felt the most present and calm and happy. And I was at the gym one day, and this woman, saw me doing something on a machine. She came up to me. She's like, oh my God. She's like, that exercise. She's like, do you work here? And I'm like, oh, no, but this is what you do. Next day, I kid you not, Jacqlyn, I went to the gym, and this woman comes up to me. She's like, oh my God, that exercise. She's like, do you work here? And I was like, no, I don't. I am not kidding. I cannot make this up. Then I go to the gym the next time, and I'm on a medicine ball doing an exercise for my glutes, and a woman comes up to me, and she's like, I have been wondering how you target that. She's like, that's amazing. She's like, do you work here? And I looked at her, and I was like, yes, I do. I was like, how can I help you? Yeah. So I helped her that day, and I went, wow, if I have ever in my life gotten a sign, this is it. So I went home, I ordered the books. I found an online, so I'm ISSA certified. Okay. And I went home, and I ordered all of the books, and I completed a 4-month course within just about a month and a half, 2 months. I got CPR certified in first aid, and 2017 hit, and I hit the ground running. And what I'll say is so magical is obviously, the times that I look back in my life, and I'm sorry if my story was a little butchered, but when I look back, my junior year of college, I decided to stop exercising. I was like, I'm gonna partake in extracurricular activities, and I was like, I'm gonna live this college life. I was playing volleyball, the years before that. And I was like, I want to have this college experience. I stopped exercising that year. Jacqlyn, in that year, I had 2 panic attacks. Wow. One of them was literally in the middle of a sorority meeting. They had to lay me out in the church.
Wow.
Yes.
Intense.
So now when I look back, it all makes sense. When I was going outside to play and have fun, it was really a release and a time for me for mental clarity and to be present. And the thing that's so beautiful now is that I am doing exactly what I wanted to do when I was 9 years old. I am impacting people's lives and also my own, and sharing growth together. And super fortunate at this point to also be able to do it in front of the camera. So it's like all of a sudden these worlds collided, and all of the hard work and perseverance and literal tears that have been shed over the years. Even when I decided to become a trainer, I cried. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this right now. At the age of 30, I made a complete career shift. But it all makes sense. So it goes back to the beginning of like, when you're in it a lot of times, it's really easy to question, why am I doing it? Where am I going? And then when you look back, there's always this beautiful perspective as to like, oh, well, that's why.
Your
so
story.
That's my story.
First of all, thank you.
How
so
I became
much.
a trainer.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Incredible. Your story brought me so many chills so many times. Phenomenal. You've built this incredible, strong mindset. And it's so obvious, and it's so contagious too. And you said something in your story of, when you first got back in the gym and you had to say to yourself, just do it. How do you get to that point? Because it's not like for everyone, it can be different, right? So how do you get that mindset, that strong mindset set to say, I'm going to go to the gym? How do you do that?
It's a great question. I think it's about creating a SMART goal and something that is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant and time bound. I think a lot of people get super overwhelmed when they are wanting to exercise again. And ironically, the last thing that we want to do when we're feeling that way is exactly what we need mentally and physically. And I think it's as simple as saying, I'm going to go for a walk. Because it's really just movement. It's not that you have to go in the gym and crush weights and lift for hours. It's really just about the movement. And I think if you can grasp that concept, that's where you start. If you're like, you know what, today I'm literally just going to show up at the gym. Literally just show up at the gym, because it's about creating the habit and understanding the benefits from that habit.
Understood. Absolutely. And what was that like too, creating a shift when you were 30, right? Because we all hear, oh, it's never too late. That's obvious. It's never too late to do anything. But what about what did you have to go through in order to say, I'm committed to this? I'm willing to put myself out there to change.
What was tears, lots of tears and questioning life. And to be honest, but it was also I think it goes back to the question that you just asked of, it's funny enough, am I happy? Mm. Am I fulfilled in life? And if the answer is no, how do you redirect that? And for me, it was, I wanted more, and to each their own, you know what I mean? I wanted more than waiting tables and not feeling good at that point in my life. And once you hit that level, you ask yourself how to one up and what is truly going to bring me joy in life. And I think that's what it comes down to.
Powerful.
And it was scary. I told my best friend and I cried. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And I think that's almost when you have to turn into a groundhog. And I mean this in the best way possible. You put your head down and you dig. You do not look back. You don't question. You enjoy every step of the way to the best that you can. And you get through that hole and there's the light. That's
phenomenal counsel. Because it's so funny. A lot of people, they don't even realize it, but they'll stop right before they hit the gold mine, right before they hit gold. They'll stop.
Oh. Well, yeah. And the thing is though, there'll always be that next step.
Yes.
Right? So it's you think you have everything figured out, and then all of a sudden the next thing happens, which is also really beautiful. So you just kind of have to, you got to persevere. You got to.
You gotta. Well, that kind of, shares with me. I mean, you were able to work with these extremely high level clients. And so when you talk about, breaking the barriers of what's next and just keep going, how did you even get to these places now? Because you're working with some of the top level, entertainers today. How did you get there, and what was that like when you first got your client?
Yeah. I think I Forrest Gumped my way into it. Honestly, I'm just kidding.
Love that.
It does feel like that, though. No, I've always worked very hard. It really does go back to this concept of how everything, when you look back, makes sense. So, ironically enough, when I was waiting tables, one of the restaurants I worked in was owned by a woman named Lisa Vanderpump, who is on the Real Housewives, or was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And she has a spin-off show called Vanderpump Rules.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was working in that restaurant years ago, I was also a sub-character on Vanderpump Rules back in the day from 2013 to 2015.
Oh, no way. Awesome.
And during that time period. Yeah. It also ties back to the whole concept of how I continued to exercise while I was waiting tables and acting to help with my anxiety. The girls on the show would come to the gym with me. So when I decided to take that leap and become a certified trainer, the girls on Vanderpump Rules were like, finally, we've seen this the whole time. We've been waiting for this moment to happen. And I was like, wow, instead of just training everyone for free, I can actually have this as a career now. This is great. So I got certified. And one of my dear friends also became one of my great clients. Her name's Lala Kent. And we started training and some great results. She's an incredible client. And from there, it has just been hard work, truthfully, and continuing to show up and study and be prepared. And one of my clients who I've trained, her name's Camila Cabello. She literally hit me up on Instagram.
Wow. That's awesome.
Randomly one day, hit me up on Instagram, and she's like, it looks like you guys have fun. And I was like, yeah, I do. That's what I believe in. Fitness should not be this serious thing. It is fun.
Yes.
Right? It's kind of like you're hanging out with a friend, but also a little punishment happens, but it kind of feels good.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
It's I hate you. It's over? Oh my God. What? And I'm like, yeah.
Big relationship right here. Oh my gosh.
And I think it's just, I think a lot of things come down to right place, right time, right person. And not everything is, a home run. Most things aren't a home run. But I think it's sticking with it and continuing to grow along the way and learning from each obstacle and road bump that you hit and just showing up.
I love that. So the cooking show that we've been filming a little bit every now and then, what I love about you is that you show up. Yeah. Is that you show up, literally. You're like, hey, why don't I come over on this day and we film? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. You're always just ready to go. You're on it. How do you create? I want to know, because I really want to actually download this superpower from you. How do you create that unapologetic, oh, what was that? Oh, hi. Oh,
I was just kidding. I was giving you the superpower.
Oh, because what's funny? You pointed in the video to the little recording button. I was like, oh, geez.
Oh. Okay, keep going. I'm so sorry. I cut you. So
I feel downloaded already. I feel like I have the superpower. No, how do you create this consistent, persistent, without air trial and just you keep going? What is that? How do you create that for yourself? What is that foundation look like? What are you setting up for yourself in order so you're consistent with everything that you're doing?
I mean, there's two things. First is discipline. Literally the biggest word and the most effective word in any sort of entrepreneurial experience or life is discipline. There are so many days where I'm like, I don't want to wake up at 5:30 and go to the gym. There are. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, but you just do. And discipline is the main word that I can think of that really sticks. Mm-hmm. And it's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's just not. And it's also a reminder of like how you feel once you do accomplish, right? Whatever task at hand it might be. And the other one is, honestly, like this past year I had a rough year this past year. And I remember calling my dad one time, and we've had some great conversations just like over the past year. And I just remember calling him being like, I don't know if I can get back up from this one. And he's like, my dad's like real New York. He's like, Jen, you don't give up until you quit. And it's that simple, but it's so true. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it's so easy when you're rejected or things fall through to just be like, you know what? But like, all you have to do is redirect. And maybe it isn't exactly the same path that you were going before. And maybe that one loss leads to a win in another place. And I think if you're just able to kind of get out of that tunnel vision in those moments and see the bigger picture, you don't give up. You really don't. You utilize it as a lesson to be like, wow, I actually grew more in this failure than I did when everything was a quid pro quo.
Amazing.
I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard as shit. Okay? It's hard as shit. But like, it's perspective, and like, that's what's key.
Beautiful. You truly do have just a abundant mindset. Like you at least it's very contagious to me, at least. Like every time we're together, I feel inspired. I feel motivated. I feel just excited about what's going on because you bring that energy. Do you also have certain habits that you do every single day that allow you to have this perspective and this discipline? What are some?
Yeah, absolutely. I practice my gratitude list every single morning. Before I even get out of bed, I lay there and I list 5 things that I'm grateful for. It has literally been my savior. It is something that is so easy, literally takes a minute because our minds work way faster than our mouths. And it's such a great way. And it can be from the tiniest thing of like the cup of coffee I'm about to have or the comforter that I slept with, right? To something bigger of this interview that I'm about to have or this job that I just booked. That really is the main tool that I've utilized. I'm also really big in meditation. I wish I could say my practice was as strong as the gratitude list. And honestly, sometimes I just smack myself in the ass and I'm like, get it. Just go get it. Sometimes it just takes a little smack on the ass. Little shrimp on the bobbit.
A little shrimp on the bobbit.
But like, right?
That's so good. You have fun. You make life fun and you enjoy it's so great.
It's like you can't take things too seriously. I mean, I do. It's a problem. But like, I also think that's a practice that I work on is patience and perspective. Always. That's a good one too.
Patience and perspective.
So yeah, I would say, but the daily practice really comes down to the gratitude list, exercise. There's really few ways that we can actually recharge ourselves. It's been proven because we are like batteries. It's literally exercise, meditation, and sleep, and given a food, food for fuel. So and those are the things that I always recommend sticking with, and get you through the day.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because
literally
exercise. All right. That is you're an expert in this. Let's talk about it a little bit, because for everyone listening who might feel stuck in some ways, or not exactly sure where to start, or potentially just wants to reach a new level, let's talk about your best practices in the gym and some little nuggets that we can have here, because I'm going to the gym later, so I need some help.
Oh, you're gonna pop. Okay, I got you. I think it comes back to what I would say. You went,
Well,
I think it comes back to, a little shimmy. What I was saying earlier. You don't have to go to the gym. Do you know what I mean? If the gym isn't something that inspires you, take a dance class. Right? If you're someone who needs grounding, go for a hike. It doesn't have to be the classic sense of, go dominate the gym. You can do workouts at home. If you're having trouble motivating getting out of the house, literally find an app, go on YouTube, search some workouts, because they're everywhere right now. And I always say start small. Because once you get in, that first step is always the hardest. Once you get in, you're going to win. Once you're there, the hardest part is showing up. And then like little tips to stay motivated. Like if you're having to work out early in the morning, lay your clothes out the night before. That's like one of my favorite tips, because everyone's trying to make excuses. Just lay your clothes out the night before. Or if you have to go to the office, or if you're at home, pack a bag the night before, put those clothes in the gym bag and go right before.
Amazing.
Or go right from work.
Yes. So great.
Yeah.
No, that's
and always warm up and cool. Please, 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 please always warm up and cool down. Take it from me, who didn't always do that. And I've had several injuries because of that.
What do you mean by that?
What you'll also notice is like once you start dynamic warm up, like don't just dive into the workout, like stretch, move through the movements, activate the muscles. Don't just go in. Our bodies are like rubber bands, right? And like if you don't have, what do you know? I got a little hair scrunchie right here. What do you know? If you don't warm it up, right?
That's perfect.
You're going to regret having me on this.
I love this.
Once you, I don't know what happened. There's this little part right here where it's connected. And if you don't warm this up, it will break. It will tear. Right? And it is just so important to get things activated. And that's the other thing that's great is like, once you start that warm up, you're like, wow, I'm ready. And it also motivates you to actually want to hit that workout. Because a lot of times when we're like feeling stiff and lethargic, we're like, I don't want to move. I just want to sleep. But once you do start to move and open up, you're like, whoa, blood flow feels good. I've been missing out on this.
Oh my
right.
God.
So those are little tips.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you also have your own material.
Dominate the world.
What was that?
Yeah.
Wait, you said something?
I was just saying you don't have to dominate the world.
Oh, or do you? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. One step at a time.
One step at a time.
If you continue to take one step at a time, you kind of do. But no, it's one step at a time. Yeah.
Okay, so you also, though, have your own material. So for the people that you were saying that don't necessarily have the gym or want to go in the gym, can you share with me a little bit about what you have as well? Because I want to more explore it, because it's very powerful. Everything you put out is extremely powerful and effective. So talk to me about this.
Thanks for asking. I have right now 2 of my very own online programs. They're both called Don't Sweat It Alone, because you don't sweat it alone. I'm right there with you. These programs are catered to at-home workouts. They are strength and hate-based. No, they're not. You will love them. They're strength and hip-based workouts. Yeah, I love it. All catered to at home. Every single video, you are literally following along right with me. I go live twice a week, Monday and Friday. Both of the platforms offer like over 100 on-demand workouts ranging from 5 minutes to an hour long. The Don't Sweat It Alone ongoing fitness program is very similar to a monthly gym membership. But what's really cool is you get access to me, and there's an incredible community for accountability. And I also lead meditations after all of my live workouts. Wow. For the one-on-one program that I offer, that's for someone who wants something a little more hands-on. There is full nutrition included and text access to me with a week-by-week breakdown of what you should be doing every week.
That's incredible. That's amazing. Thank you for putting that together.
Yeah.
That's actually so cool. And the meditation part too, is that something that you've always kind of been interested in? Because I do know you also train for that realm or for that vertical as well. So like, talk to me a little bit how meditation came into your life and how you've decided to utilize it too.
Yeah, it was one of those things, like I'm very much so type A personality, and the gym is great for that. But when you're type A, right, I think there's two types of people in this world: people who need to help speeding up and people who need help slowing down. I am the latter. And implementing exercise, right, with meditation, I have found is really the best way to work the body and the mind. And that's where you're spiritually connected. Because honestly, fitness is really just one facet of health. It's just one facet. Meditation is another, and food and nutrition is another, and obviously recovery and how we take care of ourselves on the bigger picture. So if you can get that combo platter, I realized you, my friend, are living a good life.
That's so great.
It's really beautiful. Yeah.
That's so amazing.
I think I'm not sure I don't know exactly how I got into meditation. It was years ago now. But I really realized when I was having times of questioning or confusion, if I just took a few minutes, I would find my answers, or at least I would have the ability to slow down and think clearly through, the outcome.
Meditation is so powerful. Yeah. It's literally operating
it's so hard.
With your alpha brain state. Yeah. It especially when there's so much going on around you, it can be hard to just clear your thoughts and just be in the moment and be. But you said, it's a very powerful tool. Yeah. And the other tool too that you mentioned was also nutrition and food. Us filming our cooking videos together, but more so even just I see what you're posting too, and everything's extremely healthy and just like, how do you, even when we're talking about fitness too, like what's the best way to incorporate, eating with just optimizing your body for the most impactful workout, for just being your most impactful self? Because I don't think many people think about all the time what they're putting in their body and how that's affecting them throughout the day.
Yeah. It really comes down to whole source foods. At the end of the day, the less processed foods that you put into your body, the better you will feel. It's really that simple. Then it goes more into like goals of where you want to go and what you're looking to do. But anyone who is still listening to this,
hey listeners,
still tuning in, focus on whole food. There are absolutely, we are all beautifully unique. So there is no one tool, honestly, that works for all of us. There just isn't. But tools that generally work, generally speaking, for most people that I have found in my years of training and also experimenting with myself, obviously the whole foods concept, but dairy, cutting out dairy, and to be honest, gluten. Cutting those two out of your intake will lead to more clarity and less inflammation. And additionally, if you are more focused on longevity and hormones, finding an eating window, so intermittent fasting, is like one of the best tools to success, and also generally speaking, weight loss.
Okay, intermittent fasting.
So those are kind of those are kind of that's the groundwork that I follow when I'm eating. I start protein, then I go vegetable, and then I go starch. Pretty much for all meals.
Amazing. And then also intermittent fasting. Tell me a little bit more about that, because it's been around forever. What is your rule for intermittent fasting?
So, to be honest, it was something that I just tried. A lot of people were doing it, and it was one of those things where I was like, I'm just going to give it a go. And it was the number one way that I found that I actually felt the best about my body. It was really that simple for me. And from that, I started exploring it more and doing more research. And then I found out the benefits of the hormonal side. And I've been really into this guy named David Sinclair right now. He's one of the top Harvard doctors. And it is just proven that you prevent aging from intermittent fasting. How cool is that?
That is super cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Ever since then, I'm like, there's just so many benefits of it. And you don't have to start crazy. Start with, a 10-hour window. It's not like you have to immediately go into this 6. I don't do a crazy eating window, by the way, either. I'm not one meal a day. No.
I know people.
I eat from 12 to 9.
It's tough. 12 to 9.
Yeah,
that's good.
I always say, if you can do it, great. If you can't, then try something different. But those are just little tips and tricks that, generally speaking, when it comes to nutrition, that I recommend, and why.
I'm going to try that. Thank you for sharing. That's great. I'm genuinely going to try that. I usually try and stop eating right around, I think my cutoff time is 8 p.m. But I usually stop eating after 7 or something anyway. Yeah. But I'm going to be more mindful. I'm absolutely going to be more mindful. Well, Jenna, before I let you go here, I have one final question.
Uh-oh.
How do you...
Okay, let's hear it. Another brain buster.
Yes. How do you define happiness?
Wow. It seems so simple yet so complicated, right? I think there's so many fleeting moments of happiness, but I really think happiness comes down to purpose and fulfillment.
Beautiful.
I really think it's that simple, knowing what your purpose is and being able to fulfill it on some level and give back.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing yourself and your experiences and your journey.
Yes.
Everything here at Happiness Habitat. I've so enjoyed this. So much fun. And where can everybody where can everyone find you online?
Ms. Jenna Willis. MS, my name, Jenna Willis, on Instagram, Twitter, all of that good stuff, TikTok. And then for anyone who has any questions, please feel free to DM me and check out www.don'tsweatitalone.com if you are interested in any sort of, fitness or wellness program. I would love to help.
You're incredible. Well, everyone, thank you for joining. And Jenna, thank you so much for being here. And I'll see everyone soon again. Yes. Bye for now.